exactly like sports nutrition? What do a lot of people think they need to be doing that maybe isn't really the full truth?
I think that carb loading is the first thing that comes to mind. There's like we're starting to get more sophisticated with carbs because they're very trendy right now, and hopefully that
Totally.
becomes less of a trend. But I also think that um, that elite athletes are, special in some way where they're doing something different than the everyday um, athlete or the weekend warrior, or just, we're all sort of built the same way. So I think there's a little bit of myth around that.
Meaning that a lot of people think that some elite athletes are doing crazy, need to be doing crazy other things different than the normal human being, but that's not actually the truth.
Yeah, or that it's not accessible, because nutrition is actually, it can be very simple.
Yeah, totally. Well, let's stay on the carb loading thing, because there's gonna be a number of people who are listening to the podcast who maybe run half marathons or full marathons or dabble in like half Ironmans or full Ironmans, and definitely, especially if you're doing it for the first time or the second time or maybe even the third time, people are very unsure around, okay, what really is the best way to attack this? And obviously, a lot of people have for years think carb loading, let's have a big thing of pasta the night before. Tell us why maybe carb loading isn't the exact thing that that maybe people think it is, or it's not all it's maybe cut out to be.
Well, I think if you've ever tried it and you think about it, if you eat a huge meal like that the night before, it probably doesn't feel that good. Like you may
Yeah.
not sleep as well, and you might just feel a little off in the morning. So, the idea of eating a lot of carbs is great. You just don't have to do it all at once, because your body can really only absorb and store, so much at a time. And it's better if you're practicing, just if you're training for something like a half marathon or any sort of endurance event, the best practice is incorporating carbs into your nutrition plan daily and your training plan. And then um, making sure that during the week that you're tapering or taking it easy going into that event, you don't do the thing where you think, well, I'm not training as much, so I need less, and you keep that percentage of your diet very high in carbs. So every day you're getting, at least 75 to 80% carbs in your diet. And that can start off with like really more high nutrient carbs early on in the week, where you're still getting fiber and, brown rice and lentils and other things. And then you can kind of taper that off into more of like your beige diet, your white rice, your white pasta, that are less energy consuming on the gut as you get closer to your event. And this doesn't even have to apply for if you're signed up for a race. It could just be like you're going to do a really hard hike with your friends on the weekend and you just want to feel good, right?
Yeah.
Really, for anything.
Totally, totally. So just to kind of reiterate some of the things that you said there. So you are you saying that when you're training for a race, sometimes about 75 to 80% of your calories are from carbohydrates?
Yeah, it's very
Okay.
high.
Gotcha.
And that
Gotcha.
includes fruits and vegetables, of
Right.
course. But like
Totally.
my plate is, yeah, it's a lot of carbohydrates.
Totally. Is that something that you do always when you're doing long distance, like biking, or you would recommend somebody if they're doing long distance running, or is that something that you like to practice kind of all the time, or like when do you usually do about 75 to 80% carbs versus not, or do you not ever not do that?
So this is a really fascinating question to me, because I'm retired from professional racing now and I work
Okay.
full time. So my schedule has changed a lot. My husband is still a full-time cyclist. And so being around him can be a little challenging, because it's like he should just be hooked up to a feeding tube. And so it's like I see him eat and I want to eat. And I've explored different things now, that sometimes my day looks like I just go to the gym and I lift really hard and really efficiently. And my body just functions better when I'm eating a lot of carbs. When I try to shift to more protein, and I think I get